Hey everyone! I'm gonna do a review of Heroes of Cosplay episode 2 since I did one for episode 1 and see people liked it, so I guess I'll do a second one. But a quick disclaimer, if I say anything that happens to offend anyone, please tell me and I'll apologize about it. But also, before you assume and jump to conclusions about something that I may have implied, you should really check out my video before, jumping on the gun and thinking I said said thing, because sometimes I truly didn't, or the way I worded it may have been a little odd. But yeah, so before you just assume things, just watch my video. I know I talk a lot, but, just to not bombard me with, oh, you're criticizing people, how dare you? No, and plus it's 2013. Who doesn't criticize people? Get with the times. But yeah, I'm a little rusty on episode 2, so I can't guarantee I will talk about every little thing that happened. But I do remember like the main things that happened. So in episode 2, you get to see different cosplayers, unlike in episode 1. Like there's some that returned, like Victoria and Jessie came back in episode 2. But you also got some new ones that came out, like, you got Ricky, who is very, she's very professional in her work from what I saw. She was very professional, and I know in the beginning of the episode she wanted to get her portfolio reviewed by the fellow that did, like, the props for, Hellboy. I wish I could have seen more on that, because I think that was actually really interesting, but it was cut short because of lack of time, I assume. And in the Emerald City episode, she was going to do her own interpretation of Hellgirl, which, based on the designs, I thought it was a really unique idea, and I really wanted to see how it was going to fold out. So, and she did a pretty good job of it. Like, I think she was having issues with the tail, though, because I guess the tail kept going too in front of her, where it's supposed to be kind of like in the back. But yeah, overall, I thought Ricky was a really interesting, persona in the show. Like I said, I can't really recall everything I saw in episode 2 because there was quite a bit in episode 2. So overall, I thought Ricky was fine. She definitely had quite very unique ideas, and then she really pursued to be professional and actually wanted to, do this for a living someday, which is good. I like that. I like that she has a goal to reach. And then we got Monica Lee, who I've known previously before the show. I think I followed her page or something like that. She happens to be good friends with Jessica Negri, and she's kind of one of those cosplayers that kind of leans more towards like sexy, which there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, if you're hot and you want to show off, go for it. It doesn't affect me in any way, so who gives a crap? And she was supposed to do like a steampunk Poison Ivy, I believe it was. And I remember her mom was like, "You're gonna do that? You're gonna do that? Does she even wear anything?" And like, I'll admit the design was a little risque. But my concern for that outfit for Monica was I didn't feel like it was a very good choice for a contest, maybe. Like, it was a cute design, and I'm sure, and she did a pretty decent job with it, but I don't feel like she should have competed with that. Like, I feel like it wouldn't do very well. Because when you do competitions, you want to showcase your skills. You want to show a variety of things that you can do. So, and when she does, steampunk Poison Ivy, which, yeah, it's a cute outfit, but it's not, I don't think it's a very contest-worthy entry, however. But I thought it was a little harsh how they were treating her about it. Like, for instance, like, I think she was rooming with Ricky, I think. And when they were in the middle of, like, putting on their stuff and whatnot, like, you can tell that, you could tell Monica Lee had a bit of a camel toe when she was wearing it. And, like, Ricky was like, "Oh, you might want to cover up your camel toe," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's rude to tell her she has a camel toe. You guys can word that a little bit better for her. And then, oh my god, the poor dear. When she went up on that stage, one of those judges, I clearly remember one of those judges told her, are you supposed to be Poison Ivy? And Monica was like, yeah, I'm cosplay Poison Ivy. And then the judge was like, oh, well, you're not portraying her very well. You're not being sexy enough for Poison Ivy, and blah, blah, blah. I thought that was a little... that was kind of a bit of a slap across the face. I don't know. I felt like they were being too mean to Monica, even though, like, you could tell that the sewing job for that costume was actually pretty well done. And then the last thing about her, she went to dinner with Yaya, and Yaya, oh god, this is what stirred up the whole internet that night. Yaya was trying to tell Monica, hey, don't be too overly sexy like your friend Jessica, blah blah blah. But here's my 2 cents on that. I truly don't believe she meant to criticize Jessica Negri. I really do not think she meant it that way. What Yaya was trying to do, at least based on that tidbit there, I think she was just really trying to protect Monica more than anything. She just didn't want Monica's quality of work to fall to pieces because of a bad influence, which I think is perfectly reasonable. Like, I guess maybe the way Yaya was approaching it was maybe too motherly, but if I had a friend and she looked like she was going down the wrong path due to another friend that may have been influencing her to do something like that, I think it's only natural that we approach them and be like, hey, don't do that because bad things will happen. But then there's that controversy saying like, oh, but you should cosplay whatever you want, blah blah blah. Yeah, of course you should. But I think Yaya's words were bented to make it seem like she was criticizing Jessica Negri when I truly believe she wasn't criticizing Jessica Negri. All she was doing was looking out for someone, which I think is perfectly fine in my book. And then Victoria was in this again. She did a Tron dress in this episode, a very gorgeous Tron, like it was beautiful, a very beautiful Tron dress that actually lit up. Like, wow, it was she looked amazing in it. However, before the contest at Emerald City, she talked to Yaya, and Yaya asked her, hey, did Jinyo help you with your Tron dress? And Victoria admitted that he did. Now that's the thing about Victoria that's been irritating me. Like, she wants to get the spotlight and all the credit, but yet she gets assistance from Jinyo, who is a genius. Like, he's amazing at all these things that he throws in alongside with Victoria's sewing skills. But it irritates me that she takes the credit. Like, it's like, why don't these two just compete as a team? Like, think about it. If these two competed as a team, like Holly and Jessica, do you know how many, like, contests they would win? Like, holy crap, we'd have, like, the dynamic duo right there. But no, apparently, for some unknown reason, they just don't. And so at the time, when it gets to the contest, Yaya asks Victoria, hey, did you make all that outfit on your own? And what does Victoria, she freaking says, yeah, I did. I'm like, you just told Yaya that Jinyu helped you, so obviously she wasn't gonna win anything, because even, like, if most 50% of that outfit, 50% of making a costume doesn't qualify you for even a contest. It's usually at least 75 to 85% depending where you're competing at. So that was kind of irritating, but nonetheless, she looked gorgeous in the cosplay, so I will give her that. And then Jesse was in this again too. He did a steampunk stormtrooper outfit. It looked very nice. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I love his works. I think he does a great job. However, he doesn't win again in this episode. But I began to think about it, but I don't think it's a valid reason why he doesn't win. I think why he didn't win this episode nor the last one. I think it's because, if you notice, his two past costumes don't really display sewing skills. And I think that's what he's missing. Like, I bet if he threw in, like, maybe a few sewing pieces on there, he may have actually had a chance. But either way, he does a wonderful job with what he does. And then there was a new one. Her name was Chloe. I guess she has like her own like cosplay show somewhere. I don't know where. And she competes with Lydia from Beetlejuice. When she said Lydia from Beetlejuice, I love Beetlejuice. However, when she said Lydia, I was like, oh, hun, I think that might be a little too simple for a contest. Oh, another thing. This was her very first contest. Like, her very first contest was at Emerald City. I was like, dang, I give props to that girl. Like, for her first contest being at that scale of a city, you know, that scale of a con, that's incredible. That takes a lot of guts. So, kudos to Chloe for competing at such a large convention for the first time ever. But anyway, so she does Lydia, but it's not just Lydia. She also does the Sandworm, I believe it is, the Sandworm, out of like these like cat pipe things. Like, I'm not sure what they're called, but it was a very creative idea and it worked really, really well. She unfortunately did not win, but she was a good sport about it and she was very down to earth. So nonetheless, I really liked Chloe a lot. I hope she continues on being on that show. And then the last thing, and then I will close this review of the second episode, was the dinner. There was like a dinner, and like I guess some of the girls were there, and they were saying some stuff about like how Derp shouldn't cosplay as Derp, and Chloe actually was like, hey, people should just cosplay whatever they want. I think that scene was misunderstood as well. Because Yaya made a comment saying like, oh, people should just be aware of their bodies. Yeah, that's all she said. They should just be aware of their bodies. People somehow bent it and said like, oh, she said fat people shouldn't cosplay and blah blah blah. And when did Yaya ever say that? She did not. You morons. She did not say that. She never said that. So either way, like, your words are gonna get bented and disjointed from every angle by people just to make you look bad. That's just my opinion and my take on that. So I'll end it right here, so it won't be a 20-minute video like last time. And I'll go ahead and review episode 3 when I have a moment. Alright guys, toodles!